what tests do they do on people to make sure that they have recovered?
It's cognitive testing. There's balance testing. Yeah, there's multiple cognitive tests and then a balance test. And it's all, compared to your baseline that you do at the beginning of every season.
When you hear about guys like Jim McMahon that are suffering really badly now, does this give you pause?
Yeah, for sure. And I know Jim, and I'm definitely friendly with Jim. I enjoy being around him. He plays in the same golf tournament I do in Tahoe. He's played every year it's ever been on, and I've talked to him about his issues and heard him talk about it as well. And it definitely gives me pause. That's why I'm always, doing research on my own about stuff that people have done. Joe Namath has talked a lot about, his use of hyperbaric chambers actually and healing some of the gray matter that has been associated with traumatic brain injuries. But, CTE has been linked to a number of suicides that we've had from former players. And it's a real thing. I really do think it's an issue. The NFL, I think, is doing a lot to combat it now, thankfully, with the standardization of the helmets that we use is way different than it used to be. I mean, there is a very high standard and testing process that goes into that. They've tried to police the helmet-to-helmet hits that we've had. There's way more protection for players that carry the ball. There's protection of all sorts for any type of helmet-to-helmet contact. You can't erase any of it, and some of it, honestly, is the draw to the sport,
right?
Is the violent nature of it. But I think all of us realize the risks that we're taking. I mean, you should. You're playing a contact sport, and there's things that to look into and to think about when you're playing and when you're done playing to make sure your cognitive function is still there and you're lesser at risk to some of the effects of CTE.
Well, you're a very proactive guy, so I'm sure you have kept abreast of all of your own impacts.
Yep.
And how many times do you think you've been concussed?
Let's see. I've had 3 concussions, I believe. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've had 3 concussions where I've come out of games in my playing time, and obviously taken a number of other hits to the head that didn't classify as concussions. But the last one I had was in 2018, and I got kind of clotheslined, and I went over and sat on the bench and was like, oh man, I kind of dinged up a little bit, but felt like I was okay, and then just came on, and my vision just went like, and took myself out of the game, and that one kind of scared me, to be honest, because it didn't feel like I was concussed. It didn't feel like it felt like kind of a normal shot almost. And then it just came on, and I, basically was losing my vision. And that's when it gets scary. So that's when I really started looking into some of the things that people were writing about and researching on traumatic brain injuries, and ended up getting a hyperbaric chamber and felt like those dives have really helped me, and then taking Alpha Brain's awesome too.
Yeah, I saw this article recently about Brett Favre, where he's talking about how he's had somewhere around 1,000 concussions.
That might be exaggeration.
Might be.
Well, he played in 350 games, so that's like 3 a game.
I think he was talking about his whole life.
Oh, his whole life?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
what does it say here? It said more than 1,000. So what we know now is concussions happen all the time. So he believes he's only suffered 3 concussions in his career. He's now upped that estimate to more than 1,000.
Well, I do know that for sure. When he started playing, I believe in '91, the protocol was you got dinged, just take a little break, shake it off, and get back out there.
Right. Well, that's how it always was in sparring.
Yeah.
I've seen guys get knocked out in the gym, and then they're sparring 10 minutes later.
And that's when multiple concussions can happen.
Yeah.
Because once you get dinged the first time, the next hit doesn't have to be anywhere on the same level to to have a brain issue.
So he says, what we know now is concussions happen all the time. Favre said, you get tackled, your head hits the turf, you see flashes of light or ringing in your ears, but you're able to play. Based on that, thousands. So it had to be because every time my head hit the turf, there was ringing or stars going, flash bulbs, but I was still able to play. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if every time you get tackled, that could be a concussion-like play, then probably a lot for all of us.
Yeah. Have you found anything that's like deteriorating, or would that be the end for you?
That would be the end, for sure. Yeah, I mean, my life after football is going to last a lot longer, I hope, than my life in the game. This is my 18th season, and I'd like to.
That's a lot of seasons.
I'd like to think I got more than 18 years.
That's
left
kind
in
of
my
amazing
life.
that you've done that. I mean, you think the average NFL player, what is the average time playing?
About 3 years.
Wow. Is there a sport like that?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't think there's another sport like that.
No, I mean, the turnover, it's a young man's game. Although Tom has kind of rewritten some of that in playing, 24 years,
He's going
I think.
back in again.
Yeah. But they don't kind of make them like that at all. I feel fortunate to be still playing at 18 years, but you learn how to take care of your body and avoid. I mean, Tom has avoided, I think, big shots most of his career. He had one knee injury, and other than that, he's been fairly healthy most of his career and not really had any concussive issues. And I've been able to stay relatively healthy as well in my career. But yeah, it's a young man's game, and that's the fun part is the battle against time and the battle against age and the battle against the young guys trying to take your spot.
You said you've had some knee injuries before, right?
Yeah.
What was the extent of those?
I've had multiple cartilage issues, 2 cleanouts, had an ACL reconstruction in college, and then just a lot of issues around that, nerve issues, arthritic issues, bursa, inflammation. And then in 2015, after that season, I got cleaned up and I said, it's time to get serious about my diet. And I cut out a lot of shit from my diet, hurtful to many Wisconsinites, but I really cut out dairy. And
You probably shouldn't say that out loud.
I've said it before.
Did they get upset?
They did, yeah. They
Really?
said I was, anti-Midwesterner. But when I did that, and I really limited gluten as well, I haven't had knee issues since January 2016.
Really? So you think
And that was since 1999, that 17 years of knee issues, cleanup, and a change in diet. And nothing the last 6 years as far as inflammation goes. I had a fracture in my knee in 2018, but nothing inflammation related.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
that's really amazing that that diet had that much of an impact, especially when you consider the amount of abuse that your knees would take playing football.
Yeah, it's been a total game changer for me. But diet has a big effect on more than just inflammation in your knees.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
Personality. Yeah, it has a big effect on your immune system, a big effect on just overall pain and the way you feel.
Yep.
It's kind of amazing how bad most food is for you.
Most of it's not real.
It's not real. It's not good for you. Filled with preservatives and genetically modified to stay on the shelf longer.
Fake meat.
Oh, that stuff. That stuff's hilarious. Especially the vegetable fake meat. They keep trying to sell that shit. Nobody wants it. Ugh. The stock has crumbled because everybody was like, Beyond Meat, this is our way out of this.